Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools in Brandon takes pride in selling the tools farmers and tradespeople rely on. Like our Winnipeg location, Brandon carries the same tools you know and love. From all the brands you can trust, all in one convenient place. And with unbeatable service, we'll make sure you get the right tools to get the job done. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools in Brandon, proud to serve Brandon's industrial needs since 2018. Stop on by today at 358 Park Avenue East. And good morning, Buffaloes Nation. Welcome into episode 29 in season 2 of the Buffaloes podcast. As I'm your host, Graham the G Show Forsyth. I'm just fixing the camera there. Seeing doubles this morning as for some reason there's just a glitch in the system with me importing the camera in the last few episodes. It seems like that's happened a few times, but yeah, other than that, and with that included, it's great to be here on this Wednesday morning. Episode 29, Season 2 is brought to you by Ken Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Terrico Goaltenders, and Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools. Thank you to them for continuing to support our coverage of the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy podcast, the Buffaloes podcast here on the network, where we start off with some big news. We're going to be talking about a lot of signings in this episode, but the latest, Bailey Allen, senior defenseman, 2007 born player, committing to Indiana Tech to play Division I hockey at the ACHA level for the foreseeable future in her college career. For Bailey, she spent the last 2 seasons with Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, a player that is known for her good defensive ability, as she hasn't put up many points throughout the past 2 seasons, but has obviously earned some recognition and now making a huge commitment to Indiana Tech based off of that great defensive ability of Bailey. So congratulations to Bailey Allen on making that commitment to Indiana Tech and pursuing her hockey dreams at the Division I level. We're going to dive into that right away. Me and Gordy Tummelson are going to talk about that signing, as well as talking about just touching on the other signings that have been happening throughout Pilot Mound Hockey Academy at this point, as well as what's ahead. Continuing to talk about that in the upcoming weeks here, in the upcoming months, as we're officially into the recruiting part of the hockey season around here in North America. You're not going to want to miss this interview with Gordy Tummelson joining the show next year on episode 29, season 2 of the Buffaloes podcast. Enjoy, everybody. And Gordy Tummelson joining this edition of the Buffaloes podcast to talk about signings and plenty of other stuff here on the episode before episode 30, episode 29 of this podcast. Gordy, we're going to start off with a signing that was just made today on this Tuesday, 4 hours ago, announced on Pilot Mound's X account, and that's defenseman of the U18 female prep program, Bailey Allen, committing to um, let's see, Indiana Tech, a D1 school in the ACHA located in Fort Wayne, Indiana, for the upcoming season. Bailey, of course, a defenseman for this year's Pilot Mound program, and yeah, getting some big news moving on to the Division One level at Indiana Tech. Gordy, just first thoughts off of this signing, Allen going into the States to play and live out her dream of D1 hockey.
Yeah, that's an amazing signing, Graham. It's tremendous for our program. You know, Bailey's a bit of an unsung hero, and back there she's playing and doing her best. And the folks, and that's the neat part about recruiting. Whether we're doing the recruiting or whether the guys from somewhere else are doing the recruiting, that they see something in a player that maybe somebody else doesn't see, and they think they've got the right coach that can take that player and make them even better. Those are the kinds of things that go on all day long. I know we're dealing with a girl in Czechia on goal. I'm hoping that, the rest of my group will okay the thing, so we can continue to look, try and get it over here. But at the end of the day, that's how you kind of do things, right? You're watching, you're picking players, and it was a bit of a surprise for me personally, maybe not anybody else, but certainly for me that Bailey got signed. But way to go! And Indiana Tech's been a good place for us. We had a couple of girls that went there a couple of years ago, and I'm just kind of rattling off names. I can't, I'm trying to remember names, and my apologies. Big, tall center, and a defenseman from Philadelphia. Episcopo was the defenseman, and the forward is from Roland, Manitoba. My gosh, if I can't, I'll come up with a name. I remember somebody. I'm getting old, Graham. Anyway, yeah, great for Bailey to be picked and selected and spotted, and Indiana Texan, Division One Hatchet team. So they're a good program. They're exciting, and they're usually at the top. So they're pretty selective in the players that they go after. So good on Bailey. Yeah.
And were you thinking of Haley Anderson?
There you go. Thank you
There
very
you
much.
go.
Thank you for your research there. That's why they have guys like you in the world to make guys like me look a lot better than we really would. Appreciate that. Haley Anderson, absolutely a big star player for us. Pilot Mound, and the young Miss Episcopo from Philly. She went off there. They went off together, and man, they have had 4 or 5 great years there, those kids. So good on them, and good and nice to have another Buffalo playing in Indiana Tech.
Yeah, and speaking of Haley Anderson, I remember actually watching her play a bit down in Pilot Mound when
Yep.
was announcing games a
Yep.
few years ago, I guess. But yeah, great to see that tradition continuing, it seems, with them adding Buffalo's players to their roster. In terms of Bailey's game for Allen, what would you say probably stands out the most? What you feel led to her getting selected by Indiana Tech?
Well, my thought is that she's a steady player and lots of room to grow. She's not a prolific scorer by any stretch. She's not an offensive player. Um, I'm just trying to grab up her stats here and whatnot. But in the meantime, of course, I can't read fast, so there she is. There she go. Okay, there's her. She's a little girl. She's not big at all, and and whatnot. So yeah, she's only got half a dozen points or 10 points for the season. But in the meantime, you know what? That's not the big part about playing defense. Goalies like defensemen who stay home. Don't worry about scoring points. We don't want everybody to be Bobby Orr or Paul Coffey. Those are, of course, old people that some of these folks won't remember. Let's see who would be a guy today, a young guy today, in the goal scoring for a defenseman. Name me somebody.
Well, I mean, of course, Kale McCarr just hit
There you
30.
go. Okay.
So,
We don't have to go any farther than
I
that. Kayla
mean, yeah.
McCarr, she's not a Kayla McCarr. And that's okay. She's a stay-at-home D. She's going to learn the game even better when she gets to. So good on our program to take a young girl that was, looking to get better, looking to develop, hoping beyond hope, that coming from all the way from Abbotsford, BC to Pilot Mound, Manitoba would change her hockey career, and it did. My gosh, she's going to Indiana Tech. That's wonderful news. And so, we're really proud of Bailey. We're pleased that, we're pleased that we're on the roster sheet of the of Indiana Tech and many other schools that go. We can talk about some other players in a minute, but lots of teams are watching players and looking for people. So, there's that's great, and we're on their roster to look for. So good for us to and good for our program to develop sort of unsung hero players because it's easy to pick the real good ones. I mean, they're easy and they just get better. It's the ones that come up from that sneak up on you like Bailey. I mean, it's good stuff. I'm proud of this kid. Good stuff.
Yeah, right on. And I mean, a player that, of course, on the smaller side of things, but plays above her height and, that weight class. And of course, Indiana Tech seen something in her and taken a chance on her. And yeah, can't wait to see what Bailey's going to be able to do at that next level, playing against the best in D1 hockey. Gordy, we're going to go over to the juniors side of things. Talked about this briefly on last week's show, but Brody Witink is going to be making a move to play in the MJHL. Dolphin, the Kings, they have his rights for the 2025-2026 season. Brody, an instrumental part on Pilot Mound's U17 championship run this season. Really, that squad all season long and throughout his time in Pilot Mound. You've had a chance to, of course, get to know him a bit and had a chance to watch him a bit over these past few years. Your thoughts on Dolphin, one of the best teams in the MJHL this year, finishing first in their division, taking a chance on Brody and signing him.
Well, you're never taking a chance on a Pilot Mound kid. They're always solid people and solid students. And what I was going to say before I get into Brody, Bailey Allen's got really good marks. I mean, that's another thing that these colleges look for. It's not just the hockey player; it's the person. They do a lot of research. They call our coaches. They talk to our people in the dorms. They do a really good job of researching that. So for the folks out there, it's not just about hockey. And that sometimes that's a surprise, but at the end of the day, they don't want people that don't want to be there. They want people that want to play and learn and get better and be good citizens and good people. So good on Bailey on that. Yeah, and Brody's the same kind of guy. I think his sister graduated last year, and she moved into a U.S. college. Now, Brody, of course, the boys take a different route here in Canada, and that happens to be to the Dauphin Kings. And wow, Brody Whitting came last year and he was a rookie and kind of was going around and looked a little out of place for the longest while. And he sort of got his feet wet, and then he got his knees wet, and then he got right into the middle of the pool. And here he is. Here's a guy that just got better. And not surprisingly, because the family's pretty good at hockey. But here's Brody. Good on him to sign with the Dauphin Kings. As you said, they're a top team.
Yeah.
They're like Indiana Tech. They're not just picking people. They're picking people for the person that player is. They're picking their hockey skills, of course, and their ability to grow in their program. They don't just want a player. The players get there. They're not necessarily always ready to play the first game every shift. Blah blah blah. Brody's going to get in there and he's going to be the sixth D or the seventh D. He's going to get in and out of some games. But in the meantime, he'll be at practice, the speed, the challenge, the bigger bodies, all of that stuff, playing against mature guys that are 3 or 4 years older than he's going to be. All of that's different in junior hockey. So it's as it is for the girls going to college. And so yeah, there you go. It's great on Brody to have gotten better. And he really figured it out somewhere along the way. He got 50 points this year.
Yeah.
Now, here's a guy who was a brand new guy last year. I don't know how many points he had last year. I don't think it was maybe 20 if he got 20. But he got on the power play and he got on the other things and then he started handling the puck and chasing it down the ice and being back when he was supposed to be back. And I know the Dauphin Kings. I know the coach. We all know the coach. I mean, everybody at Pilot Mound knows who these guys are. And we're promoting the kids and the coaches are asking us what's the player like and what do you see in the future, uh, and uh, and it's wonderful to see this young man and that young girl, get the next opportunity, go to the next level. So good on them. Good on him.
Yeah, and of course, Pete Moreau, his rights are there too, and Dauphin and Dauphin right now. I mean, not only were they first in their division this season, but they're still playing in the playoffs in the semis right now, up 2-0 over the Portage Terriers. So Brody, well, has a year left potentially too to play at the prep school level as he's a 2008 born
Yes.
player. So yeah, we'll see what next year has in store for him, but all signs pointing towards him becoming a Dolphin King at this point. Should be a lot of fun for Mr. Witting next season, no matter what. But Gordy, in terms of other signings, I mean, we won't get into every single one of them, but we mentioned them a bit last week, right? Like Polonowski ended up signing with the Humboldt Broncos. We've already seen Kuffler and Danners sign over to play Division One hockey with Midland University. We talked about how there's more signings to come still, and there's going to be more players that could be
Let
advancing.
me
But
let me
yeah,
jump in there. Addison Scoville's in playing in Michigan at a school I don't know. I mean, it starts with an A and it's a small school. It's kind of in the middle of Michigan, somewhere like Pilot Mound is in the middle of nowhere. And there's a school. She's there. I did want to mention, if you don't mind, are we going to take a break in a moment, or are we just going to go right on through?
you know what? We'll take a break right now. We'll come
Yeah.
back and we'll talk more about yeah, the latest recruitment news and yeah, player advancements coming up next on the Buffaloes podcast. Stick with us. Welcome back to the Buffaloes podcast, everybody. We've been talking about the Dolphin Kings for, I guess, the past few minutes of the segment with Gordy. And yeah, another Dolphin product had a chance to compete with the best from around Manitoba. I'm trying to think, it feels like months ago now, but in the top 68 POE female camp, Sadie Swannen, of course, was in that mix in those tryouts. So we're going to talk about the male side, the U16 side coming up, but. How great is that, Gordy? Not only did this female team, of course, receive commitments, but also seeing their young talent being recognized from the province.
Well, and Sadie's a young player, first year up, great attitude, a lot of fun, a lot of big smiles, and she's a good hockey player, and she's going to get better. She skates really well. She's responsible defensively. She does to handle the puck once in a while. She's just going to be. Hopefully, she's coming back next year. I mean, for us. That's always they're always in negotiation with these kids, and I'm not sure whether that's happened or not. But yeah, have her selected, and so the good news is that she's selected. The really good news is that Hockey Manitoba is paying attention to Pilot Mound Hockey Academy. Sometimes you're out there a long way away, up north or out west. I mean, we're as the lady from the goalie from Chechia's mom said, yeah, you're in the middle of nowhere. And I'll repeat that again maybe before I go a second time. But we are out there, and sometimes they don't pay attention to the rural teams. And I've known that as a Winnipegger for my whole life. Sometimes they just don't, but they do now. And Sadie's one of those kids that she just blossomed really quickly with our team, took charge. She's a younger player, and so I mean she's still got 2 more years with us. So good on her, and we're hoping that all works out for her. And coming from Dauphin, that's what hockey town's better than Dauphin, So there you go.
No, for sure. And yeah, I'd love to see Sadie in a Buffaloes jersey for the next few years. Seems there's lots of potential there, and I'm gonna be excited to see what that potential could develop into. But as for the male side, Gordy, the U16 POE male camps are coming up, and 4 Buffaloes invited. Gavin Hildebrandt, Brett Biors as well as, of course, standouts in Cole Landerville and Maddox Ramage. That's also huge for the academy, right? In terms of the year that these U15s had, being rewarded with this. I'm sure that everyone around the academy proud of these boys getting this recognition and nomination to go to this camp.
Well, there's a buzz, around with all the signings. We've got 6 signings. Sadie going there, that's 7 players. Another 4 kids being recognized. There's 11 kids now out of our 80 that right now, this moment, have been recognized by all sorts of outer area teams and leagues. Way to go, people. That's the kind of thing that builds our reputation and allows us to get continue to get good players, good people in so that we can help them develop to the next level. That's that one, it's 24/7, 365 recruiting. And every time you get a good message like that, bingo, bango, bongo, off we go. And to have four of our players, so like that's the most I think we've had yet. And we may have had four before, but I believe that four is the most that we've had since we started with the U15 program a few years ago. So good on the kids. I mean, it's all on them. They just they're and but the coaches, Colin Fafra and Brad are just wonderful guys, and Brad Platt, they're just they work really hard. They care about the kids. They go over the mistakes. They go over the good stuff. They've all got experience. It's really neat to watch, and and those four guys, like many others that didn't get recognized, they spend a lot of time. They're on the rink. If they get one practice a day, then they have maybe time at night. So there's a lot of extra ice time. There they are. Then they're watching video and they're getting really good marks in school, which they have to because that side of the room is getting beat up if they don't get good marks. So at the end of the day, it's quite a deal, and these kids excel, and proud of them, of course. We're going to go watch them at the Hockey for All Center this coming weekend in Winnipeg. So just saw the rosters, and we'll pick up the schedule now and figure out which games we're going to go watch.
Yeah, and the hockey season, of course, not quite over yet. Of course, it technically goes all year round, but
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, we've talked about so much hockey throughout this year, Gordy, but I mean, talking about that and just thinking about spring sports coming up, from an athlete perspective, I mean, it's been talked about in so many different podcasts, and this topic has been discussed so many times, but how valuable it truly is for kids to take a break from their hockey training and focus on playing a different sport or picking up something else throughout the summer to try to keep them athletic and in the swing of things.
Absolutely. We grew up, of course, ice was only available outside. So you had like 3 months of ice from the middle of December to the middle of February, most years, and maybe a little longer, but maybe a little shorter. So, and there were no indoor arenas. I mean, the Winnipeg Arena and one other Osborne rink. That was the only two rinks in Winnipeg when we grew up. And that's not a hardship. That's just the way it was. So if there was no ice, you had to do something else. Well, baseball, soccer, bike riding, or whatever, camping, wherever you did, you did. It got you away from the rink, which I think most people in our age and, in the 50s and over are going, that's the thing to do. You develop your skills. But however, the advent of indoor arenas and eager parents who want to see their children get better have pushed that envelope so that it's all year round. I encourage, and I know most of the people my age and kind of our age, up in the 50s to 70s or 80s, whatever we are, we're encouraging them to do something else. Take a break from hockey. Don't play spring hockey. Go do something else. And our high school benefits big time from our athletes. We're pretty good at other sports. So
Oh,
Pilot Mound Collegiate usually reaps the benefit of some big banners and some big championships because our track and field kids and various sports teams are good.
I was just gonna say cross country always
Yeah.
see huge rewards and awards being handed out. I guess not rewards that is, but
Yep.
I guess you could call it that as well. But yeah, I mean, I have no stats or scientific facts to back this up, but I also feel like just playing another sport, it's great still to be on the ice all year round if that's what kids want to do. But I feel like
Boring.
just taking a bit of a break and it just creates less burnout. I feel like long term too, Gordy. Having your mind focusing on a different sport instead of the same sport all the time while also developing it and rounding out as an athlete.
Well, you're a better athlete. You know more stuff. You meet different people because all the same people aren't at the rink as they are on the ball field or the soccer thing, or at the school or at the track. I mean, they're all different, and you're a more well-rounded human being just because you've met other people who've got other ideas, and then you might learn something can help you with your hockey and vice versa. Hand-eye coordination is the same in hockey as it is in golf and baseball. I can assure you. And I'm still no good at golf, and the ball doesn't move when I'm hitting at it. Baseball, I was okay, and hockey, it wasn't too bad. So, but at the end of the day, all those things are tied in together, and it's nice to be able to do different stuff with different people and get your parents out to watch a nice. My mom used to never come watch me hockey, but she'd come and watch baseball all day long. So there you go.
Yeah, and I mean, some people enjoy baseball quite a bit, right? I know you enjoy Gordy from the conversations that we've had, but yeah, maybe we schedule a golf match someday, me and you, because I also suck, probably worse than you do. So maybe we put those skills to the test. But
Mini putt.
still, in terms of hockey, though, of course, is the biggest focus for, I mean, Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, of course, with the final ID camps of the season coming up, starting on the 18th of this month. Yeah, in terms of, I guess, within that time frame, what's going to be the, I guess, preparation looking like? Of course, still continuing to look at the possibilities of players to sign, I assume.
Well, everybody's, this is, I was talking to, I'm making a presentation tomorrow, as it turns out, to a group of 11 family advisors, players and out of the States. These guys are located all over the U.S. And it's a Zoom meeting. I'm going to introduce Pilot Mound to them. And they've got players, and they've got players that are really good and they want to get better. And we're a place that can do that. And so my job tomorrow as recruitment coordinator for PMHA is to encourage those people to talk to their players, give them a chance. Our price is a good one in America, in US dollars, and the value is huge. The value for the price is amazing as far as I'm concerned, and I'm a pretty neutral guy because I got out of Winnipeg, and I'm not a Pilot Mound guy, but the value is amazing, the school and all the other things that goes on. So, yep, lots of recruitment, and we're trying to get players to come to Pilot Mound yet from wherever to come and go through the IDs and come and see our place. Once they see our place, it's hard for them to go back home. In fact, they love it because it's a neat facilities in the dorms, the arena. They got their own dressing room. It's a marvelous little sort of prairie island hockey hub, I call it. There you go.
Yeah, there you are. And I can confirm the dorms are fantastic. Can confirm that it is not, I guess it is in the middle of nowhere to a lot of people, but it is in fact a real place and a place that's really passionate about this program with those involved running it. Gordy Tomlinson, also a part of the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy family. Always great to have him on the show. Gordy, we'll be hearing from you again next week as we continue to talk about recruitment, ID camps, all that great stuff. Until then, you take care, and we'll see you in about 7 days from now.
Thanks, Graham. Appreciate it.
And Gordy Tellison making his appearance on this week's edition of the Buffaloes podcast, brought to you by his brand and goaltenders, McKenna Fasteners and Tools, as well as Terrico and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia. Before we get into our next interview, as it was an interview I did with both Ashlyn and Heidi at the same time, recorded it last night. We're going to play that in just a moment here, but before we do that, just want to give a huge congratulations to Western Championship Tier 2 U17 Prep MVP of the playoffs. And Colin Frederick is, for Colin, yeah, a very strong postseason for himself. 9 points in the 5 games played, 6 goals, 3 assists. Playing a huge part, an instrumental role in Pilot Mound taking home their second championship ever in Academy history and in this program's history. So congratulations to Colin on being an impactful player and showing up when it mattered the most for his team and being rewarded with the Tier 2 MVP in this year's U17 male prep playoff. Speaking of a U17 male prep Buffalo defenseman in Brody Witink, as me and Gordy Tomlinson talked about, the Bruxelles native from Manitoba. He ends up signing and committing to the Dauphin Kings, or I guess just committing to the Dauphin Kings as yeah, he's going to be eligible to play for them next season, heading into what is his final year of eligibility at the amateur level, the U18 level, that is. So yeah, for Brody, congratulations on that. Going to be interesting to see where and if he'll be slotting in frequently with Dolphin next season. As for the other commitment news, of course, talk about this last week, but Heidi Danners and Ashlyn Kuffler both committing to Midland University to play for the Midland Warriors next season in the Division One level. Of course, joining Bailey Allen in that ACHA Division One environment, as yeah, potentially they'll have a chance to play each other next season. I know that the ACHA Division One level and the women's side of things, there's many divisions, but yeah, for Ashlyn and Heidi, the fact of the matter is that they'll both be playing Division One hockey themselves. I had a chance to ask both players about that last night in a pre-recorded interview, as mentioned, as well as talking about just what their time was like at Pilot Mound. Heidi's been here for the past 3 seasons. Ashlyn, it was her second season, and yeah, it was great to get a chance to ask them about their time with Pilot Mound, getting them to reflect on that, as well as we dive into this year's playoffs, specifically the 3 games that Ashlyn, Heidi, and the rest of their U18 female prep teammates played in. You're watching the Buffaloes podcast here on your home for Pilot Mound Hockey Academy coverage on G-Show Productions on gshow.ca. Heidi and Ashlyn join the show next. Before that, though, we're going to hit you with a commercial break. Stay tuned for more after this, Buffaloes fans. Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia offers the widest selection of sports cards and signed memorabilia in the city. For dedicated casual and new collectors, Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia has everything a collector could ask for. Everything we sell is stored with care, and with help from our knowledgeable team, we'll help you find exactly what you're looking for. We carry Upper Deck hockey card brands like Series 1 and 2, the Cup, Ultimate, SPA, and plenty more. So what are you waiting for? Come down to Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, Winnipeg's premier sports cards and memorabilia store. Number 10, Ashlyn Kuffler, and number 2, Heidi Danners, both senior players on this year's U18 female prep Buffalo squad at Pilot Mound Hockey Academy. Both have committed to the same school at Midland University. We'll get into that in just a little bit here, but first off, got to ask you girls about the playoffs. Obviously, not coming away with a victory, but 3 hard-fought games. Take me through what that final postseason run was like. It doesn't matter who starts off by answering this one.
Um, I can start off. We struggled a little bit in the first game. Kind of didn't weren't playing as a team really together. We kind of were struggling with the puck. The weren't up to speed like we should have. Coming off the bus didn't help. But we after that game we kind of brushed off our shoulders. We knew we had a big game coming up next against Balmoral Hall. Um, it was a really hard fought game. Like the score was super high, like 8-6. It was a really hard fought game. Just came up short in that one, but kind of shrugged that one off too. And then Delta was probably our best game of the weekend. Uh, Ended up losing in overtime, which was pretty upsetting, but it was a good game. Definitely really fun to play in.
Yeah, and I mean, for you, Heidi, getting a chance to play in some high intensity games, that defensive battle in the final game, what was that like getting to experience those moments, even though the team came away with the losses?
Well, the final game was probably the most intense game we've even played all year. It was, I know at the DN for sure, because I can't speak for Kufler since I'm not a forward, but I know it was very high pace, high intensity, and a lot of pressure actually on us just to keep that puck out of the net for the last 60 minutes of our season.
No, right, and unfortunately falling short, but getting to play against some high level competition in that Division Two I guess, division ranking of those playoffs. Meaning that it was your final games as Pilot Mountain Buffaloes. I mean, what did that mean to end off the career with those girls going to battle the way this team did? Ashlyn can that's what she wants. So
Um, yeah, it was kind of bittersweet. All the girls, we had a good bond throughout the season, and it was definitely hard hearing the last that seeing that goal go in, and then knowing that that was kind of it after a hard fought season of definitely we started from the bottom and we worked hard to get where we were, but just yeah, it was tough seeing that last goal and knowing that that was our last time playing with that team.
for you, Heidi?
Well, since this is my third year and I'm graduating this year, there's a lot of emotions I think I experienced that last game. Since this has been a whole part of my life, and I've learned a lot, changed as a person. And then when I heard the buzzer go at the end of our final game last time, taking off that jersey, I think it's gonna impact me for a while, and I think this team has impacted me a lot, especially this year's.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I think that it hits that much harder, right, when you've been at it a bit longer than a lot of the girls on this team here for the past 3 seasons. And yeah, I mean, I could only imagine it's going to take a bit of time to get over it, that it was your last season in, or last time in a Pilot Mountain jersey. But I mean, for yourself specifically, I mean, throughout these 3 years growing as a player, what can you say about your time at Pilot Mound? How you could maybe recommend it to, players who want to develop their skills to get better to come to a place like that?
Personally, Pilot Mound is a good academy for almost any kind of player since it's so tight knit. You kind of know everybody. Then everyone really focuses on really helping you. It's not just come here skate. It's you get the individual time and work, and people pay attention to what you want in the future, and they help you along the way. I think that's how I've gotten to how I've ended up signing, committing to Midland. Is the people here have definitely helped me achieve that goal.
Oh, right on. And yeah, I think a quality 3 years of development for you that's led to, like you said, going to Midland University, a Division I school in the ACHA. For you, Ashlyn, you've been at the school for a little less than Heidi, 2 years, of course, but a lot of growth in your game throughout these past 2 years. What could you say about your time at Pilot Mountain in terms of the development you saw in your game?
Yeah, no, going in for my first year last year, I was definitely a little nervous. I didn't know really what to expect. I was ready to take on the challenges and work hard to improve my game and work well with the team. And I think the coaching that we had throughout the last 2 years has really helped me and benefited my game a lot. And just like putting in the work off ice as well on the gym has really helped my game develop. And I think that's a big reason why I was able to sign with Midland. And I'm yeah, very grateful for the people and all the coaches and trainers at the academy that have got me where I am today.
Yeah, and Ashlyn Kuffler with 56 points and 56 total games played this season. Heidi Danner's also putting up the points with 18 and 54 total games this year. But right before we get into talking about Midland, a lot of cool experiences throughout your girls' time with Pilot Mound, traveling to the different places you did, seeing different universities. I even found out that you girls have been, helping out with some figure skaters this season as well, which that's pretty cool to hear. But of course, going through Seniors Day and all that cool stuff, is there a favorite memory, or is there too many to count of your girls' time over at Pilot Mountain? How do you get start this one?
I've experienced probably so many different things at this place that you probably wouldn't even expect. So many different groups of girls have come and gone. I honestly cannot pinpoint a single memory. It's just bonding with the people and the friendships I've created throughout the last few years is probably the most important thing that I've taken out of this and will remember when I graduate, when I grow up.
Right on, Right on. Yeah, and I mean, making the memories like that will last a long time, and I mean, everyone hopes forever. I mean, that's a special thing to take away for sure. I guess before though, I hear about Ashlyn's thoughts. I just want to also get your thoughts on. Of course, there was a lot of drama at times behind the scenes with some of the teams in the past 3 years. Of course, a lot of losses at points, but there were some successes and a lot of strong growth in that locker room. How have you felt that those experiences specifically have made you, I guess, more resilient as not only a player but an individual?
Well, as of course, any team that's going to live together for 10 months and definitely teenage girls, there's going to be the drama that you expect.
Right.
It's not something you can avoid because everyone lives, hears everything, sees everything. I just think it's something you just kind of have to figure out by yourself. You figure out who's who and who you really bond with. It's in the dressing room, it shows for sure, but it's something I think we have figured out. Every team the last 3 years, we've gotten past the point where it doesn't matter anymore when you go on the ice. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that, especially a girls' team, has to figure out is on the ice, nothing off the ice matters. It's just a win mindset.
Well, for sure. And great to be able to go through those experiences and strive through them. That's for sure. For you, Ashlyn, I mean, any favorite memory specifically for you, or just kind of the whole experience, something you'll take away forever?
Yeah, no, like Heidi said, it's kind of hard to pick one special moment. There's so many different things that happen throughout the year. But I think one memory that I'll always remember is probably beating our HA with like everyone around us. It was a surreal feeling. Like that was something I'm never gonna forget.
Yeah, and of course, a huge rival for this academy in general, and a team that I feel like has had Pilot Mound's number, but definitely that's starting to change. And you girls this year picking up a huge win against them with a lot of big wins this year, and I'm sure you girls are hoping to accomplish a lot more big wins with Midland University. Congratulations to you both on signing to a Division I school, to play hockey at that next level, and being on the same team together at the next level. I think that's pretty special as well. Take me through, Ashlyn, you can start this one off. Why Midland was that right place for you?
Well, I met the coach at a camp in off season and kind of got to talk to him a little bit and learn what his he had to offer in the program, and it seemed to me like something I would love to be a part of. So I continued to talk to him, and we worked out a visit time in the summer, and I went down, viewed the college, skated with the team, and from then on, I knew that was definitely something I wanted to be a part of for the next 5 years. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I think he's gonna change my game a lot. And I think the team has a lot of potential to go far in the ACHA.
Well, for sure. And I mean, me and Gordy Tummelson were talking about it. It seems like it's a good track record of players going to Midland University from past Pilot Mound female teams here. For you, Heidi, of course, getting to move on to that next level with Ashland as well. Why specifically for yourself did you choose Midland as that next place to play?
I think the number one thing that drew me toward Midland is the morals and the team culture. Is they're very, of course they win, which is definitely a change coming from here since I've experienced a lot of losing on the ice. But the coaching dynamic is probably my favorite thing. He's an easy person to get along with, especially for me. I just everything that he explained and wants to have as a team, I think is exciting, and it's something I look forward to and was looking forward to in a team when I was exploring schools for after graduation.
Oh yeah, and coaching a huge part, I think, of the whole experience that maybe gets overlooked by just the average hockey fan at points. And it seems like my stutters were rubbing off on Heidi there. We're almost, of course, at the end of this interview, but yeah, what's it feel like to be able to know that you two are going to still be on the same team with each other in a program trying to achieve great things and continue to develop with each other with new teammates too moving forward in these next few years at the post-secondary level.
I'm excited for next year because me and Kufla are going to we have good chemistry on the ice and we are good at looking for each other. And I think that's a good thing we're bringing to the team next year. And even we're on the ice together, we're going to be roommates too. So that's good bonding experience for both of us.
Right on.
Yeah.
You, Ashley.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like Heidi said, we definitely have an eye for each other on the ice. She's always backdoor for me, and I tend to see her a lot, which is helpful. And I think moving up in the next level, it'll just get better. And being able to have the off ice connection as well will really help us. And it'll be really good. Yeah.
Right on. I assume excited to be roommates, you two. I mean, living with each other for the past 2 years full time. I'm sure that's definitely helped you get used to each other. But living in the same room together, what do you feel that's going to be like?
I think it'll be good. It might be a little hectic at times. I tend to stay up a little bit later than Heidi does, so I might have to change a little bit. But no, I think it'll be really good and helpful for my first year having her with me, feel less homesick.
Well, for sure. And for yourself, Heidi.
Yeah, definitely the homesick part is going to it'll get me through it a little bit better since having Kufler with me, since I think of Pilot Mound as almost the second home to me since I've been here so long. So that's just going to bring another part of Pilot Mound there with me, and it'll make me a little happier.
Right on. Yeah, definitely helps when you're able to have some familiarity, and you two very familiar with each other, of course, being teammates for 2 years straight now, accomplishing some great things together, of course, moving on to this next level and having some great development behind you from Pilot Mound Hockey Academy. For you, Heidi, how do you feel like your time in the CSSHL with this Pilot Mound Hockey Academy program is going to help you at that next level?
I think the Pilot Mound, this academy and this league is definitely going to help me for next year because it is so high pace and it's already an intense level. Playing all the different teams from bottom of the tier to top of the tier, it's all different levels and skill sets. And I think I've developed consistently throughout the 3 years, and it's going to help me strive and do good things in next year.
For you, Ashlyn, you're coming off of two very good seasons, being a real leader offensively for your Pilot Mound Buffaloes. How do you feel like your time over at Pilot Mound, much like Heidi's, will help you at that next level?
Yeah, I think, yeah, the pace definitely playing all the top girls from the other team has really helped improve my game and show what it's like to play at the next level. And I think it's only gonna keep growing as I go up in years. But no, it definitely Pilot Mound prepared me for the next years to come, and it's really good. Yeah.
And remembering this now, but not only you girls are going to have a chance to play with each other, but potential to play another teammate in Bailey Allen as she's committed to Indiana Tech University to play her hockey in the ACHA division. How cool do you feel like that's going to be like playing against a familiar face and also against new competition from the collegiate landscape?
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be tough and it's gonna be fun to play against old teammates, but when we're on the ice as separate teams, you go hard until the buzzer. You're not friends till that last buzzer. And I think it's going to be really fun to play against old teammates and potential new players. And it's going to be one heck of a year.
For you, Heidi.
It's one of my favorite things in the female hockey league is that you get to know people on other teams, and then you, even in spring leagues that I've played in growing up, the girls on your team expand to other league and other divisions and other teams in your league. So you just kind of get to know everyone. So even as seeing that going into college hockey and university hockey, I think it just kind of makes me happy since we've got girls from this team playing throughout the ACHA league. There's a girl I played with my first year here at Pilot Mound is on Midland, so I know her from a few years ago.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I think that's great too, having that familiarity of a player that's already there too, and a player that could help, guide you girls through that first year. You never know who's going to step up and be that mentor, right? Future. What it holds, still to be determined, but feeling like it's going to be a lot of success for you girls over at Midland. I got to ask one last question here in terms of just overall big picture, if you even thought about it, but what you two are hoping to accomplish during your time at the university level with Midland. Patty, you could start it off.
I just hope to continue my hockey career. I hope to one day help coach more female hockey development teams. So I think my experience in 4 years at Midland is going to definitely put a reputation behind my name, hoping I do good and experience a lot of new things. So I think that team is going to help me become a new person so I can help other females develop.
Right on. And for you, Ashlyn, is it similar to Heidi's or something else you have in mind in terms of what you want to accomplish at Midland?
Yeah, it definitely it's the big picture is definitely winning that national title. Coming off of seasons where you tend to not win as much, it's out there, and it would be really nice to capture that. I think throughout the seasons, I'm looking to better myself and maybe even after I'm done, go play pro somewhere. So I'm really gonna have to push, but I think going to Midland and hopefully winning some national titles throughout the my 4 years there will definitely help that.
Well, for Midland University this season finished fourth place in their division in the ACHA. These two players from Pilot Mound, impactful players for the U18 female prep program throughout their years here. Heidi, 3 years, and Ashlyn, two, and looking to continue to make an impact at that next level together at the D1 level with Midland starting next year. Heidi, Ashlyn, thanks for taking the time. Best of luck next year in your first year of university hockey. Wishing you both well, and thanks for taking the time here and joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And great to hear from Ashlyn Kuffler as well as Heidi Danners on this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. As once again, we'll show you their official commitments over to Midland University to play Warriors hockey for the next few years in their collegiate lives. As the Chilliwack product as well as the Wawanesa product going off to the States to play for Midland. Of course, another player from the program going off to the States from this U18 female prep program is Bailey Allen, the Abbotsford, BC program. Going to be interesting to see if Indiana Tech ever has Midland on the schedule in the next year or so, in the next few years. What fun that could be. But also Addison Scoville going to the next level and committing to a D1 school. Of course, we've seen, Colin Frederick making a huge impact, of course, winning a championship with his U17 squad, and then a player on that U17 squad making a commitment to a very strong junior program with the Dolphin Kings, and of course, Austin Polanowski, the team captain of the U18s, going to be taking his talents to Humboldt to play for the Humboldt Broncos, which, of course, a few days ago now, that was the anniversary of that tragic crash that ended up happening. Hearts still go out to, of course, all those young men that, were impacted through that tragic situation. Shout out to those who survived as well. And I mean, seen videos of those players making the most out of their situation, which, don't even have the words to describe that still, what happened with that Humboldt Broncos squad. I don't think anyone has the words to describe that. Just a tragic situation that we remember those who were lost, of course, those young men, and of course remembering those that are still on this earth and are, of course, trying to live their lives the best that they can. But yeah, kind of got sidetracked there. Austin Polanowski going to that franchise now. The Humboldt Broncos to carry out his junior hockey dreams. But yeah, great to see so many great things happening around the academy right now in terms of players that are getting recognized and making signings to either university or junior programs. And yeah, hoping to see more of that great news continue to happen with more players signing and committing to universities in the next few weeks here and throughout the off season in general. But as for what's to come with Pilot Mound Hockey Academy, of course, their teams, they're still going to be practicing until the foreseeable future, really until the hockey portion of their schedule ends at Pilot Mound for this season. But as for the ID camps, there's still one more to go. It's coming up fast too. Not even 10 days at this point. 9 days, in 9 days' time, as I should say. It's going to be the male U17 and male U18 prep camps that, I'm going to have a chance for those two programs to take a look at some talent that they could potentially be bringing in next season. Be sure to register today if you are in this age category, if you fall under one of these age categories and are looking for that next place to play. Pilot Mound could potentially be one of those places, and hey, maybe the coaches like what they see from you. They get a chance to take a look at you, and you get a chance to, of course, explore Pilot Mound a bit, get a chance to check out the dorms, the facilities. I think a great all-around experience for anyone that may be undecided about what place they may want to play next, and maybe looking at a place like Pilot Mound at that next place, definitely worth considering. Be sure to check out their website for more information and details at pilotmoundhockeyacademy.com. We're going to continue talking about just the preparation of that camp, I guess, next week with Gordy Tummelson, as well as more stuff to do with the recruiting side of things. Also going to be hopefully joined by other individuals from throughout the academy. Maybe some coaches finally. Maybe we finally get Colin Fafara on the show. Maybe we have some more players, or maybe even some other names, some other faces that are involved with Pilot Mound Hockey Academy in one way or the other. But we're going to throw it to one last commercial break here, and then I'm going to end you off with some final words on this edition of the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy podcast for episode 29 in season 2 here on gshow.ca on gshow Productions. Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools has been the place to shop for your industrial needs for over 20 years. Carrying the tools you need to get the job done from the brands you can trust, Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools has you covered. Brands like Milwaukee Tool, established in 1924 and on display in our Milwaukee Red Zone, the largest red zone in Winnipeg. With construction workers and tradespeople in mind, Mid-Canada Fasteners and Tools is your one-stop shop for all your industrial needs. So come on down to our Winnipeg store location today, located on 1557 King Edward Street in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And welcome back to this edition of the Buffaloes podcast. If you've made it to the end of this edition of the show, thank you so much for tuning into this one. Thank you to Gordy Tummelson, as well as Ashlyn Kuffler and Heidi Dennis for taking the time and joining this week's edition of the Buffaloes podcast. Gordy's going to be on the show next week. We're going to have other guests, hopefully, for next week's show, too. So we're nearing the end of season 2 of the Buffaloes podcast. If you've been here throughout the year, thank you for tuning in and continuing to support. If you are new here, though, and you want to continue to see episodes like this that are going to be coming out, we got one more for sure next week. We may even have one after that, but still undecided at this point. But if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, help support us here over at the G Show Productions Network, and helps content like this potentially get out to new faces and to people that may be interested in a podcast like this. And if you subscribe and turn on notifications, you'll be able to not only get notifications of when the latest edition of the Buffaloes podcast drops, but all of our other content that we have going on here on the G Show Productions Network. Speaking of, we got the MMJHL podcast coming out tonight. Finals preview as that final series is starting tonight on a game between the St. Boniface Riels and the Transcon Railer Express that can be seen on Uscreen TV on our platform there. And yeah, plenty of other stuff for us to cover this week too. I'm going to be releasing our final Manitoba Female U18 AAA Hockey League podcast, and maybe, just maybe, we get back to producing the Manitoba Hockey podcast as well. But yeah, there's a lot going on here on the network. We try to cover as much as possible here in the province of Manitoba, so if you are interested on our future content, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Like I said, that's the best way of going about that, I'd say. But yeah, special thanks to our sponsors in Terrico Goaltenders, Mid-Canton Fasteners and Tools, and Can Central Sports Cards and Memorabilia, once again for continuing to support the coverage of the Buffaloes podcast and everything we do here on the network. Until next week, everybody, we'll have full details for that episode before it drops, which will probably be once again on Wednesday morning. Until we see you then, I've been your host, as I've already said, Graham the G Show Forsyth, giving you the peace out, waving so long, everybody, wishing you a wonderful rest of your week, a great and safe weekend as well. Enjoy that nice weather out there, if it is nice where you're at. A bit cloudy out here in Winnipeg, Manitoba today, but we're going to make the most of it. Tyson Unruh, Juno Award winner, is going to send us off with the March of the Buffaloes theme. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in episode 30 here in Season 2.